Okay, we're going to talk about long division today. Kids make a lot of mistakes on this, so if you get stuck, just double check with the video. You might have to fast forward on the ones you got right. I would check it on the worksheets and then just skip ahead. I'm not going to go through this example here. We're just going to do some factoring, that's all. And then they're explaining the process. Now, you guys learn division a little bit differently than some of my students, and every year it turns out that some students were taught it differently than others. I wrote down in my notes, there's some difference in this area here. I used to just say 1 times 12, and then I would just drop the 5 down. And this is having you do the 1200 thing. So I don't want to go through this. Don't hurt yourself looking over these examples. I'm going to teach you the long division method kind of based on the old school way, but it will not mess you up regardless of how you were taught long division. But if there were some confusing aspects of that example there, maybe you were taught division a little bit differently. So we're going to start with number 3 here. I did not think they gave me enough room to work. If you need loose leaf paper, go ahead and do that. Okay, so first you have to rewrite it. And it's really important that you put every single like cube, square, x has to be accounted for. You'll have to put zeros in if not. Same thing here. Now, because this is a binomial and there are 2 pieces, when I line things up, I'm going to start 2 units in. And this is all going to help me stay lined up. I remember some of the students said that they had to do this too. Long division is one of the things where kids make mistakes. Some of you would used to have to use grid paper. If you were really sloppy, your teacher might have made you use grid paper to keep everything lined up. Staying lined up is really going to help you. So what you're going to do here is you're really only going to look at this x minus 1 and then these 2 pieces that we lined up in. And actually, even more specifically, you're only going to be looking at the first piece, the x and the x cubed. So you ask yourself, how many times does x go into x cubed? And some students have to actually write it down beside it and do the exponent rules. It's x squared. If you line it up correctly, it's always going to be like this will be the x squared column, this will be the x column, this will be the number column. Okay, so once you figure out how many times just that first term goes into the first term, we multiply down. You distribute down. X squared times x is x to the third. X squared times minus 1 is minus x squared. Then you subtract, which means you subtract all the pieces. So I usually change both signs. And then this will always, always, always cross out. Be careful with signs here. Negative 2x squared. And then I only drop the next piece. The example above had them drop all the pieces, but I usually just drop the first one. Okay, so now you're still going to use this. How many times does the x? Now we're looking at this piece here. How many times does the x go into the negative 2x squared? So again, some kids have to write that down. Negative 2x squared over x just to figure it out. And it will be negative 2x times. So that's negative 2x. When you distribute with a negative. So it's negative 2x squared, and now it'll be a plus 2x. But when you subtract, you change all the signs. So then this will be gone. It will always be gone if you do it correctly. And that'll be a negative 15x, and now you're going to drop down the plus 15. And now we figure out how many times does this x go into the negative 15x. So if you need to write it down, negative 15x over x, it'll be negative 15 times. You multiply down, negative 15x, negative 15 times negative 1 is plus 15. Change all the signs, and you get a remainder of 0. Okay, so you get a remainder of 0, and you get x squared. I'm going to write it up here. X squared minus 2x minus 15. That means that x minus 1 is a factor, and you could write a multiplication statement. You could say that x minus 1 times x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals x cubed minus 3x squared minus 13x plus 15. I could go even further if I wanted to, but they did not ask me to because this guy factors. I could say x minus 1 times x minus 5 times x plus 3 equals this guy, but they didn't ask me to do that. That's just a little bit of extra that we're going to be doing eventually. Okay, next will be this guy. So rewrite first. Oh. 2x cubed. Now check your x squared. There is 1. The x and the number. And now this time it's a 2x plus 3, which makes it trickier, but we can do it. There are 2 pieces, so we're going to start 2 in right there. And we're just going to check the first 2 with the first 2. So how many times does 2x go into 2x cubed? So 2x cubed divided by 2x is just x squared. Multiply or distribute down 2x cubed plus 3x squared. Subtract all the pieces or change all the signs. This will be gone. 4x squared, drop the plus 2x, and repeat the process. How many times does 2x go into 4x squared? So now I have 4x squared divided by 2x. I am in the x column, so I should get an x, and I get a 2x that goes in there 2x times, and that's positive. So plus 2x. Distribute or multiply down. That will leave 4x squared plus 6x when I take the 2x times the 3. Subtract all the pieces. Negative 4x, drop the plus 9. How many times does 2x go into negative 4x? That'll be negative 2 times. Multiply down. Negative 4x and a minus 6. Change the signs. And this time I do get a remainder. Okay, so it's not a factor. So it will not be a factor. So I can't write it real nice like I did before. I'm going to have to take into account the remainder of 15. So the way we can write this is you can write 2x plus 3 times x squared plus 2x minus 2. That does not give you this, but if you add in that remainder after you multiply, then it will give you 2x cubed plus 7x squared plus 2x plus 9. Okay? The other way you could do it is you could write it as a fraction. 2x plus 3 times 2x cubed plus 7x squared plus 2x plus 9 plus 15 over, what did we divide by? The 2x plus 3. That could equal the 2x cubed plus 7x squared plus 2x plus 9. Okay, I'm actually going to stop this video and do the last examples on a new video because I'm a little bit worried about how long it's going to last, and that way you guys can find things easier.